Right, we should be back. Should be back. Right, that should do it. That should do it. Are we back? Are we back? Yeah, I don't know what that was. OBS just, yeah, OBS just glitched. So we'll start fresh. Might have to delete the other one, or I might just leave it anyway, because we did a little bit of an introduction on that last one, didn't we? And everyone's just going to have to refresh and come back in, I'm afraid. Let me just check on the old Discord. I think, yeah, that's fine. Disable that. Yeah. Yeah, I think OBS, I think I'm due a little bit of an update on OBS, so it might have glitched out a bit. I'll keep an eye on OBS as well. But yeah, cheers for pointing that out. Where was I? I won't start again. Normally I timestamp these live sessions, don't I? And I'll keep that other one. I'll keep that other stream, timestamp it, and then I'll just start afresh here, shall we? Okay, right, and I'll keep an eye on OBS to make sure it goes. Right, so basically, look, to summarise BTC quickly, we will have a quick look at volume and stuff, but just to say that, yeah, we don't have much depth at the minute, okay? We don't have much depth. That's, you can see that in not 1 to 10% here, okay? But as I say, it's not going to take much when you're in these kind of price discovery levels trying to attack all-time highs again to push price up from low open interest. All right, that's all I was going to say. So from there, let's have a look at a couple of other data points. Okay, let's have a look at the volume. We'll have a look at liquidity and the like as well. Okay, so first and foremost, volume 15-minute basis. Not too much to say, but only to say that, you know, open interest is following the CVDs at the minute. Okay, you had a lot of retail longs trying to get long yesterday after the weekend push up. Like I mentioned in yesterday's video, that is not the time to be chasing green candles. You know, if you pumped on a weekend, it can be very, very valid. Okay, those moves can be very valid, especially if there's a bid under those moves. But it pays to just watch that Monday price action, you know, form. Do we get a Monday low? Do you take the Monday low and then move up? You know, don't be chasing any kind of candles in the Monday sessions, especially in that US session, okay? But yeah, open interest is pretty chilled. Funding's pretty chilled. Mentioned to someone asked a question about the LS ratio earlier in the Discord, actually. Obviously, I do have the LS ratio on here in this pink here. It's absolutely one of the last things I would look at, though, to be honest. But even the LS ratio is coming down a little bit like it did last week. All right, so volume, no real edge at the minute. Okay, no real bullish divergences or anything. Just to say that spot market volume is coming up a little bit, but it just seems to be following price. Okay, another thing to look at, let's just check funding and stuff. Actually, I haven't actually checked funding today. Yeah, pretty chilled. Funding is pretty chilled. Open interest pretty chilled. Nothing to see here, really. You know, you've got a slight rise in open interest just now on this US session. That's to be expected. I think all delta metrics are going to be okay as well. Let's have a look at a 1 hour basis. Yeah, so we got an alert yesterday, obviously at the highs there, as the deltas went absolutely batshit crazy, and they've all just chilled out a little bit now. So yeah, not too much the same volume and stuff. I think really what we need to see is just, you know, certain regions holding. Do we go fill the CME gap? If not, I'm not too bothered because I'm long from lower anyway. If this zone just holds, I'm going to be quite happy at that. You know, is it worth looking for shorts if we do get a rise up? Yes, of course it is. The closer to 125 we can get, that, you know, that's going to be better. But that can take time. Obviously, yeah, that can take time. You know, last week, Monday, I said, right, I think shorts are done for. We need to potentially be looking for longs. And it took until late Tuesday, Wednesday to actually action and press some buttons on those longs. Yeah, okay, so it can take time. You know, maybe it's right at the end of the week when we get up here, you know, but I think we've certainly got some liquidity still to play for on the upside. Yeah, okay, so last week we came to the downside. Bears did quite a good job, absolutely fine. Couldn't get quite down to that 110 level that everyone was looking at. Isn't that always the case? And we rose up. Okay, so let's see what we get. Other things to look for, obviously ETH and Sol have been doing their own thing, really, haven't they? So we can have a look at a few alts. But yeah, just quick overview. Not much bid on BTC right now. Just a few resting limit orders sat near the CME gap. So, you know, unless market orders come in and start to push this one way or the other, you're at the range POC here. Weekly open is just above defending price there. That's the value area high of your range. So, you know, if we just blast up, great, because we're in longs. If we chop here, do nothing. Okay, for me personally, I don't touch price action here. I hold those longs and I just don't do anything here. You know, no particular reason to close yet or anything. Right, so shall we have a look at a couple of other things? I just want to see how yeah, okay, let's have a look at some altcoins then, shall we? Right, ETH. Oh my god, look at ETH. Let me just reset that. Yeah, I mean, look. Yeah, do you really want to be do you really want to be shorting this? I don't know, you know. If you are going to execute shorts on ETH on a multi-month year or so resistance, you need to be executing like an absolute demon as close to these levels as you can, because it wouldn't surprise me if it just cracks this level. This looks exactly like how BTC did when BTC was attacking 110k. You know, you can see the momentum on ETH is to the upside, really. You know, if BTC and a few other coins were looking mega bearish as well, I think, yeah, you could go all in on this, but I would still tread lightly with a short in that position. Yeah, welcome in everyone. So if you didn't catch it, the beginning of the stream just absolutely fucked up and we've had to restart. So if you've just joined, there'll be two kind of like clips of live stream and I will timestamp them both. But yeah, welcome in Kalechi. Rude Artist is in. Previously Rude Soup, Sins in, Lurkar. No religious talking here, thank you very much. We will not get involved in that. Right, so ETH, yeah, absolute resistance. Of course it is, okay? If you are going to head shorts in here, because you're long from lower, maybe you're holding some spot ETH, then yeah, you just want to execute as close as possible. General depth in perps is still pretty good though. You know, the mega shorts on these kind of larger volume assets, ETH BTC, come really when all this depth has gone. Okay, perps have lost interest, they've filled, they're holding on tight for, you know, all-time highs. The depth disappears, you've got negative depth. That's when you really roll over. These perps players really could push us past this spot supply on ETH, so just be aware of that. Soyboy Sol, mentioned to the guys earlier, was actually looking for a bid in the 172 level, because I'm a greedy trader, and what would 172 give us? It would sweep all these lows, and I haven't got it yet. So like I said previously, I would be very happy if you could just come back down and fill my bids. Thank you very much. But I don't know if we're going to. Everything looks as if it wants to push up. I don't want to be too judgmental within, you know, just pre-US session. But we'll see what BTC wants to do, obviously. But yes, Sol and ETH perps, very bullish. Sol USDT spot books have been chasing offers down, so be aware. The trade setup I would have been looking for was to fill just under here. I guess you could say you've just tickled those lows there, but I would be looking for like just to sweep these lows here, these Monday lows on Sol, if we can get it. And then I said I would play it as a day trade. I would play it up to this 182 level, but it might have left me behind, but that's absolutely fine. Rude was thinking 6k. Is that your target on ETH? Is it? Yeah, I mean, if it is going to break out, I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon, especially on a multi-year, multi-month resistance. If it breaks that resistance, it's really going to crack onwards and upwards, I would say. You don't really want to fight that. You know, I've been saying that since April, you know, since the April lows. Just play the trend, buy those dips, whether you trade in perpetuals or spot. If you're in spot from a lot lower, great. Perpetuals, long the dips, long those liquidations, long with the demand. Take profit on the way up, you know, when you see that supply hit, or the open interest is high, all the good recipes we know about. Okay, take profit, take a chill, go chill out. You know, wait for that dip. You don't have to short. If you want to hedge your positions, you're very valid, especially over the last few weeks. There were some very valid short positions, especially three weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. But just relax, long them dips. Another good coin, obviously, is Hype. Another one. I was preparing this live session and I wanted to fill some bids down here. Another one I mentioned to the guys in the private Discord, Hype, and I've not filled here either. So that is always the case when I'm on the live sessions. My bids never quite fill and price action leaves them out me. So nice one. Cheers. Thank you very much. All right. But yeah, Hype has been doing really good stuff. And the Hype chart is great. So yeah, just if you missed it earlier, we're just battling the range POC on BTC. Do we hold here and push up? You have got a CME gap a little bit lower, okay? But yeah, Sol was looking very nice here, I thought, to be honest. Yeah, really nice setup. The Monday low, that's a trade that I do like to take, especially on a Tuesday or a Wednesday if you come back down. So yeah, unfortunately, I think I might have missed that on Sol. It's not quite taken those Monday lows, which would have been good. BTC, ETH and Sol are quite good for that. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the Hype chart as well, because it's doing very nice things. And back on trend as well. If you look at a 4-hour chart on Hype. Okay, let's just reset that. Okay, so deviation out of the trend, back in, back test, and away you go. So I really wish I'd bid this earlier, but yeah, we'll see what we get. What are Stonks doing? Stonks gapping up slightly. Yeah, Tesla wants to gap up. Nvidia wants to gap up. And E-mini futures is going for another all-time high. So let's go. Alexi, thanks for hyping Discord. Oh, did you take it? You front run. I bet you front run my bids, didn't you? Because on Sol and Hype, I said, you know, either here or a little bit lower. And I'll be honest, I was greedy and I wanted a little bit lower, and I've not fucking got it, have I? So anyway, right, let's move on because Nick is fuming. Nice one, yeah. Nick is fuming mad because he didn't get his bids filled. Right, is BTC moving up? Yeah, come on, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, give me the screen froze a little bit ago, just in case you missed it. And I had to restart the session, so I will timestamp. There will be 2 live sessions. There'll be a short one, which is probably about 10 minutes long, and then Rude and Lurkar told me that the screen froze, so I had to restart. I will timestamp this one as well. It does jump a little bit further in. You didn't miss too much. All we were saying is we're just looking at CPI for the stock traders, and showing that tech stocks want to gap up a little bit. We're saying that we haven't got much depth of book on BTC, but I don't think it's going to take much to float price up like last week. Okay, you're in these kind of attacks of all-time high, and you know you could pretty much still say you're venturing towards price discovery. You know, I don't think, and every time we come down to these lows, I don't know if people are aggressively shorting and just getting wiped out, but the open interest is nuking down. So this is an open interest RSI metric that I really like on this 15-minute chart. And when the open interest nukes, it just doesn't take much to float us back up. All right, so if you missed the beginning of the stream that cut off, okay, so yeah, a few assets going into the green here. So let's have a look at a few more altcoins, see if we can see anything. Looks like things are moving already. So if you are in some trades like Alexi on Hype here, okay, so what is this cross here? This is an Alt Diamond top level pro alert. Okay, so that is an alert in our system. Let me see if I can go find it here. What time did that come in? There you go. Hype USDT perps. Oh, it's an alt double band, sorry, because we don't have the spot market. So that is an alert in our system. No momentum chasing, no redraw, no repaint, raw hard data in the charts. Okay, you can see 2 there, gave you a scalp day trade long. comes back, we get a slight, I mean, you get a reaction from that one, so it's not a failure. One thing I would say about that one there is you can already see that there's a wall a little bit lower, which it comes down and grabs. Okay, so Hype has done exactly what I wanted to see on actually Sol and a couple of the others. So Hype has come back and actually taken out its Monday low, I believe. Let's go and have a look at that. Let's go and have a look. Cheeky look at that. 1 hour chart. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So that's your Monday low. Okay, so Hype bounces, comes back. You get the alert from the trader console, the TRDR console. It takes the Monday low and it runs and guns. Absolute fire and forget risk reward trades. Okay, same with the highs. You know, if you get the highs first, sometimes it can be that you might bounce, you know, down here. Who's to say that today or in the last 12 hours we didn't go up first? You know, those are good risk reward shorts, but always watch the order flow as well in the trader console. And obviously bear in mind that we are in a trending up market. Okay, so still favoring those longs. I do have to say I'm still favoring the long day trades. Okay, so yeah, Hype, very nice trade, Alexei. Right, let's jump back. Yeah, drop in the chat if there's anything I need to look at. Just going to keep one eye on big boy BTC as well, obviously. Would appreciate if we can just go and visit that 125k level and see what supply lies. Someone's already bidding up Hype there. Right, let's have a look. I'll have a look at a few coins then and just see whereabouts we are. I can flick to the trading view chart if we need to, but I think we kind of all know where we are on those higher time frames, you know. Bonk and Popcat, you absolute degenerate. I'd rather trade XRP than Bonk and Popcat, although Bonk spot is a good buy, I would say. Right, Litecoin has been very good to trade. Really good order flow. Look at this. Okay, so I had some longs running on Litecoin from last week. Took profit on those this week. So yeah, really good order books though. I think last week's was around there. It filled this level, came down, filled this level, almost like a resistance to support flip. Came up, it grinds up. Litecoin's a really slow mover, but took profit on that one. We do have this resistance ahead and supply still ahead for Litecoin. Would you, one thing again, let me just zoom into this. One thing I would say about Litecoin is you've hit it once. I'll call this 2 because I'm on a 15-minute time frame. 2 again. Okay, if Litecoin revisits this level, I would say it's probably gonna crack it. 3rd time's a charm, you know. So I wouldn't, if you've been playing the short side of Litecoin, you know, the drop in the level there, if we start to eat this supply, it's probably going to crack it if it can get there, you know, if it can get there. So yeah, we can check Sue. Really nice chart on Sue. Actually, I generally have it at the top. Where's I can't see if we're looking. So why haven't I got it at the top? Yeah, generally I have Sue at the top because it's a nice chart. It is a nice chart. Let me just drop it up there. Yeah, Sue, really nice chart. You can just see again, like Litecoin, it really respects these order blocks and resting limit orders. I think whatever entity that was there selling, they actually did fill a little bit there because you can see the tiny gaps in that level. Really respects the order flow, and especially when you are looking at something like this. Okay, so I've seen this on a few altcoins over the last 24 hours, especially on some of the memes. What happens is you kind of get that selling there, and then someone, you know, they get a little bit frisky and say, oh, well, I'm going to bid this, and then they see price come down, they shit themselves, and then they drop it a little bit lower. If you come down to these levels, say you are eyeballing Sue here, what you should already be doing is just watch that price action a little bit, and then as soon as you see that level come in, it doesn't mean it's going to go there in just one clip, okay, but just be aware that pretty much that now becomes your invalidation, I would say. Okay, so that now becomes your invalidation. So wherever you're bidding, whether you're bidding light spot in here, okay, I would say if you're trading perpetual derivatives, or, you know, even if it's just a very low leverage, your risk reward here is a slight percentage away still, isn't it? Okay, so maybe we can get there, maybe we don't, but yeah, your risk reward, quick check, you know, if you were getting in here 3%, which I don't really like, I would look for something else like Hype. Okay, so we, you know, obviously we've looked at Hype and we've looked at Sol. I would prefer something like that. you know, where you've got that big fat top level there. I'm hoping Sol comes back down, actually. Big fat top level. Hype comes back to this top level here. Really, really big. Good depth of book. The open interest is, you know, learn, you get perps, alt double band. So, you know, even if hype comes right back down now, that is still the correct trade to take. It's the right trade to take. You're long, you manage your risk. If it comes back down, you're not wrong, right? It's a good trade to take, all right? What else can we look at? So we looked at Sue. Alexa says OBD, ETH, PEP, and spot 83.6 looks greedy to sell. Yeah, we can have a look at what is the Sue? What is Sue for a higher time frame chart doing? Let's have a little look at that. I'm interested myself. Yeah, it's kind of in this bit of a range, isn't it? You could still say it's got a little bit of a trend on. I'm going to ignore that low. It's still got a little bit of a trend on, hasn't it? And that's you know, all you need to look at. Yeah, it really, really is. Keep it so simple. Go to your higher time frames. Keep it very, very simple. Sue chart looks good. I know they got hacked a while ago. I don't know. I haven't looked at the metrics on how active that network is at the minute, but this chart, there's you know, it mega nuked the other week, but didn't everything else. You know, the really, really good shorts the other week. It fell back to trend. It's had a good push up. It just needs a little bit of confirmation here, really. Let's have a look. I'm gonna pull a fixed range. Let's have a look. Yeah, you know, your value area low of this zone, you're coming in at 3.55. So even if Sue chops about a little bit here, you've got a monthly open, monthly VWAP at 3.6. The value area low of this range is at 3.55, and your trend is all in here as well. So, you know, this is a good zone for Sue. You know, whether this is it and it just moves up with the rest of the market now, okay, or whether you chop a little bit more, it's a nice zone on Sue. Nothing wrong with this chart at all. Really, really good chart. Really, really good chart. All right, let's go back to that then, and just quick check what BTC's doing. Yeah, chopping about a little bit, to be expected, to be honest. Right, couple of others then. DeFi's been doing quite well. I did have a cheeky long on, and it was a bit of a risky one on CRV last week, actually. And I can go over my reasons on that if you want, but the 1 hour chart looked really, really good on CRV. A couple of lads in the Discord were laughing at me. I said, look, I just want it up to this supply, okay? So long, into supply, take profit, don't touch it again. Just don't fucking touch it. I didn't even touch it when I saw this. Just leave it alone. Weekend price action, Monday down price action. You've still got a death cloud above it. Just absolutely leave it alone. I'm not seeing much edge in it right now. Aave has had quite a bit of bid. I think some of the supply is gone. Obviously, I'm not quite seeing the 25% depth here in my overlay just now because the price has come down. Oh, there we go. Yeah, good. So some of the supply has gone on Aave. It has been getting some bids, so watch that one as well. Teo was interested in watching this over the weekend, but again, it's just, yeah, this kind of pattern I've seen on quite a lot of alts over the last 24 hours, like we just looked at on what was it, Sue, where the kind of people bid it at a weekend or try to bid it, you know, but then they lower it into Monday, Tuesday, thinking they can get a little bit lower. And you'll see on some altcoins, if you flick through them, the offers have actually been chasing price down, and you'll see that on some of the memes when we go through it in a second, okay? But yeah, Rune, I always keep an eye on Rune, but not doing too good. Nice to see Pepe doing well. I've got some Pepe long from last week as well. Posted that for the guys. Right back here, while we were trying to long Pepe last week, again, higher time frame, right back down to its trend line. Let's go back to there. Let's have a look. So yeah, this was an alert. I'll just show you at higher time frame. There we go. Okay, so there's Pepe, yeah? Trend, okay? Volatile, but it's a fucking trend, all right? So what we need to start getting, so we've got higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, all the way, okay? Higher time frame. If I went to a daily chart, it'd look more obvious as well, okay? What we need to start getting on some of these absolute dog shit coins, and Pepe is probably one of the best, memes out there with some of the highest volume as well. To be honest, I'll show you that on the screener as well. Is you need to start putting in some higher highs coming into Q4. So whether that's in August, okay, now as we just enter the middle of August or not, you need to start putting in some higher highs because all of these assets have pulled back to trend. As I say, I did have a little alert there on TradingView, but this is why the order flow in the TRDR console becomes key, because posted this for the guys in the Discord. I think Alexi will confirm that, and said this is the zone I want to look at. And then what happened was, as we came back to this order block here that I had an alert on, the order flow was suggestive of massive amounts of bid coming in. Okay, so longed Pepe down here and absolutely just got a reward straight away. So me, now I've just managed risk on this. I'm trailing a stop up ever so slightly. Does it chop for a little bit and up? Okay, maybe so. But yeah, the you know, just to say that, you know, you've got to just look at those high time frame charts sometimes. Right, let me just scroll back to there. Yeah, Pepe was just getting absolutely bid up on spot, and I think Perps was quite aggressive on it as well. Look at that. So Perps was quite aggressive. Yes, this is a messy chart. It's just a big fat green overlay, isn't it? You know, spot charts tend to be a little bit cleaner on some of these large volume assets. But yeah, it was getting really bid up. I like the spot chart on it. So, you know, as we're at this point last week, my thinking was, I don't think we're going to come down any lower, especially as BTC, ETH, and a few other assets were looking good. Okay, I just need to get in. I just need to get in. Instant reward. Have I got any reason to close the long from down here last week yet? No, not really, you know. Little bit of a range, little bit of a pullback, bit of a range here. I want to see some more bid come in. We've just had a little bit of bid there, obviously. Nice pop of a candle there, but yeah, we certainly need to see a little bit more. Now, if for instance, these offers, again, you know, some of you guys will have heard me talk about this before, but if some of these offers, I don't know what color I've got drawn here, green, let me just put it on red. If these offers do start to get aggressive and chase price down, yeah, you know, I'm going to close that derivatives long. It ain't going to look good, bruv, you know what I mean? But as long as these bids keep coming in and we get nice pop and candles here, you know, I want to see some higher highs. I want to see some higher lows again. And, you know, then hold your longs. No reason to close yet. Don't get shaken out by a certain amount of volatility, especially when you're just coming out of that weekend price action. Yeah, so that's Pepe. We can have a look at a few other memes. Let me just reset that. What's BTC doing? 119. Okay, that's fine. ALTCOIN and a few other memes have been getting absolutely destroyed. Let me just turn off the overlays and put on a very simple top level chart for you, and I'll show you what I mean. 250k. Okay, so look, this is a very simple way of looking at some of these memes sometimes, because in a trend and in a bullish market, and I would say we're still in a fairly bullish market with regards to some of the top memes and some of the altcoins, the overlays will always be bullish, right? There's no way of shaking it, because everyone thinks they're going to bid right on high leverage along, and they're going to get 1000x, right? That never changes. It's been the same for years and years and years. Okay, so one thing to say is, if you want a cleaner chart, just get the top levels open, yeah? And one thing we've seen over the last 24, 48 hours is bid and liquidity getting filled to the downside, and you can just see these green levels, the bid resting limit orders getting filled, and then we drop. Fill, drop through, okay? But what do you see from the offers? So the offers are really capping price from over the weekend, okay? Then they come down. Okay, then they come down. More often than not, if you've got aggressive perpetual selling, don't fight it, all right? And especially if it's above price, okay? If it's above price like this, even if you don't short the market, okay, don't be long here when you've got these boys and girls hanging around on some of these altcoins, okay? Just to say that. But yeah, you can see there, you know, I guess, is this the low? I don't know. I don't really have much edge in ALTCOIN, to be honest. I know it still does quite good volume. Let's have a look. I do have it at the top of my memes, actually. But yeah, to be honest, you know, it has 4-hour time frame there. It has had this kind of, yeah, I don't know. It needs to do what hype has just done. And it needs to reclaim some levels, doesn't it? Otherwise, it's not going to look good. This, if you just ignore that trend, this whole structure here doesn't look good, to be honest, at all. I think there's some better looking charts out there. You know, you're flirting with lower lows here. Do you get a bounce and then, yeah, I don't know. I've got not much edge on Fartcoin, to be honest. There was a time back here, June, okay, trending up, and the data in the order flow here on every single low was absolutely solid. There were no offers. There were no offers on Fartcoin. You were just getting solid bid, solid bid, solid bid. Okay, so on that move, it was like you could have had maybe only 1 or 2 trades a week on Fartcoin, and you were getting massive, massive rewards from it. Okay, right here, right now, I'm not too sure, to be honest. Yeah, not too sure. I know it still does good volume on DEX. I know it does. Same with Pengu and a few of the others. But yeah, I've got no edge with Fartcoin right here, right now, to be honest. So I'm just leave it alone. You know, I'll just leave it alone. SPX is looking more solid, I would say. I would say SPX, you've got this huge level here. So if you were executing like Alexi was on Hype, okay, pre-US session, midday, okay, so about midday my time, if you were executing in there with this massive top level here, you were right. Okay, you were right. Let's have a look at what the trading view chart shows us on that one as well, because you know I'm a nerd for those levels. SPX is absolutely on trend. You know, look at that. I mean, that is a better chart, I have to say. I know it's Murad's coin. This is on trend, right? This chart is, you can't argue with it. You know, even you've got a harsh pullback, it doesn't matter. It's still on trend. It's just a great chart. I would prefer to trade this than Fartcoin and some of the others. Okay, quick look at Pengu as being uponly.com. It wouldn't surprise me if this ranges a little bit now. Again, it does very, very big volume, this one, doesn't it? What are we looking at here? Yeah, maybe oh god, meme triangle, isn't it? You need some strong confirmation to long this in this zone, really, down here, into this 3.4 or 3.5 level for further continuation. You could easily deviate to this 3.2, 3.23 level. That'd be nice. You know, that's typical of crypto, obviously, anyway, don't you? You know, this kind of thing up. Same to the top side as well. We'll see. Let's have a look at the order flow on Pengu then and see what that's actually doing. Because it does tend to have good order flow now and again, especially from the offer side, you know what I mean? So that was yesterday, 5 a.m, just half an hour before I'm getting up and getting my first espresso in. Double top. Okay, so massive top level. Okay, so you could have shorted that one there over the weekend down. Okay, but then it held back up. So if you held it, you still weren't invalidated, and down. And then you see the way it's and the offers are capping price there. Really, really good. So if anyone was up trading that, you know, me and DK from TRDR, DK mentioned it earlier that obviously there was some good shorts, but timing was key, to be honest. You know, as I'm waking up, do I really want to chase this down as it then starts to hit demand, even though you got rewarded? That's all hindsight, you know. No, your risk reward is up here, and you had a lot of time. I'm on a 15-minute chart here. You had a good couple of hours to execute in there. So whether you're putting some resting limit offers in there, or you just market order in because, you know, you're not cracking that level, and down. So yeah, really, really good order flow from Pengu. Others, let's have a look at Bonk then. Yeah, I do like Bonk. In general, I just never particularly trade it, to be honest, at all. The perps, yeah, I would look at the perps charts if you're gonna. They tend to be pretty good. The only thing I'd say is, I've got no, you tell me if I'm wrong, I've got no evidence of when you get massive levels like this, they don't tend to hold. If you see that on something like ETH, Sol, BTC, Hype, some of the other coins, they will generally hold, maybe fill price, and you will send from those. Stuff like Bonk, I'm not too familiar with the perps books to say I want to trade this on derivatives. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. And one thing to be cautious of again on Bonk, and again, I do like the asset. I've got some spots. I'm hoping it does well. Is the death cloud of offers is chasing price down. Not to say you should short it until you meet that data there, okay? But just be aware of that. Yeah, no edge really, no edge on bonk to be honest. Whiff has been getting some bid. Let me check perps. Whiff, that's nice to see. That's nice to see. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, nice top level on whiff in defense there. If you get some chop today, did I hear, you might have to Google this for me, gents and ladies. Did I hear some rumors about them bringing out some kind of cap? It can't have been whiff. Was it someone else? Some kind of dex transfer or exchange or something. I don't know. Anyway, big fat top level on whiff. If you're going to get involved, you've got a bit of spot bidding here. You know, that's going to be a good risk reward on whiff, I would say, if you're not in from already. You know, you really need to be kind of like watching these things. But yeah, just put a nice clean top level on it. You'll see that whiff doesn't really react from, you know, from the bid until it gets these kind of top levels. All right, just bear in mind. Nice volume divs as well on whiff. Whiff obviously does good volume. Look at that, bullish divs, bullish volume divs. Open interest very, very low. So yeah, that could be, if it does come back down, watch for that level to hold. It could be really, really nice. Dot again. God, what's up, William? Yeah, we haven't looked at Dot in a while, have we? Dot was well bid, but I don't know if it failed its demand. Look at that. Really, really well bid. I don't know where it is on the higher time frame charts. I've not looked at it. We can go and have a look at it. But I would say that was your long last night, just pre Asian session, you know. And if you wanted to get involved, unfortunately, the risk reward is diminished now because that is your invalidation and you're 5% away now. I don't know. I think I looked at it and saw this level and then forgot about it. And I don't actually have any alerts set on Dot, to be honest. But yeah, that was a brilliant risk reward. Again, if you see this on larger assets and on spot, I don't know what perps look like. Perps, not much edge in perps, to be honest. You know, and these kind of zones fill out with the demand. Absolute fire and forget trades. Let's have a look at Dot on. Let's have a look at Dot. I do have it in my watch list, but I can't remember whereabouts it is. Right, let's have a look. Right, so higher time frame. It's starting to look. I think the last time we looked at it was probably way back here, and it looked like an absolute bag of bollocks. Again, I'm not sure if the project is still any good, whether the team's behind it or, you know, or not. I just need some of these to put on. Copy, paste. Let's have a look where we are then. Let's have a little bit of TA on Dot for William, because William is hiding huge long positions on Dot. And the bears have been hunting him down. Yeah, I mean, it's starting to look better because you took all that liquidity back on the 23rd of June. This area might have been where we last discussed Dot, to be honest, after I had a little bit of a break. You've then ran up with everything else, come back down. You need to see a little bit of a sign of strength now, don't you? And I'm not talking about Wyckoff theory and all that shit. But you've taken that liquidity. So if you're a spot investor, that was your best risk reward. You then held a little range there. That was next. You've come up. You've then deviated the range lows again. And this is one big range, to be honest. You now need to hold. You now really, really need to hold this kind of zone. And you need to just start putting in. You know, it's classic TA, isn't it? But you're well bid here. You really nice. You need to just start trending up now. And ultimately, if you're a Dot holder or trader, you know, maybe some of you guys really love trading Dot. Just keep it as simple as possible. You've got this resistance here at the point of control, right? Real easy, isn't it? Really easy and simple, right? Which you're just coming up towards now. So that point of control, we'll call it $4, yeah? You need to flip that, okay? You need to hold that demand zone, which we've just hit lower, and you really need to flip this $4 level, which is the point of control, and then you might be rocking. You might be doing a little bit of business. You know, hold that 4, go, you know? And then you've got other obvious areas that you can run up to and take. Another obvious area that you need to take is that 4.5 4.68 to 4.7 really, which is an obvious area there. But again, I'm not going to speculate on altcoins too much that they are just going to run up from here, especially when they've been down only forever. You know what I mean? Is the project still any good? Is it still live? Is the team behind it? We know there's a bid here. That's your risk reward if you're interested. Manage that risk. Stops under here now. You know, stops under here now, and it needs to start running. And that's your resistance zone there, isn't it? Your next resistance zone is 4.1. Okay, so you need to flip that. And it does look like the offers have been raised right up to 4.5 actually. I would say. Is it frozen again? Oh, gutted. Yeah, I don't know why that's freezing. We might have to call it there then, because I'll have to. I think it's when I go to TradingView and back for some reason. Let's have a look. Let's go to TradingView. Yeah, no, I think it's flicking to TradingView and back for some reason. So what we'll do is, I'd unfortunately have to stop and start the stream again, which I won't do. So what I'll do is for the next live, I'll try and fix that. I think I need to update OBS. To be honest, yeah, Max, welcome in, mate. Unfortunately, the stream has just broke once again. All right, guys. So look, what's BTC at? BTC is at 119,140. Okay, it's just at the range POC. We need to see that area hold or potentially just fill that CME gap a little bit lower. The depth of book is not amazing. All right, but there are some resting limits in the Peps book a little bit lower on BTC. All right, guys. So look, yeah, I'll call it there and I'll try and fix the stream, and then I'll try and get another one in this week when I fix this freezing of the screen. I'll do an update to OBS and stuff. But yeah, we'll be back. I'll give you some more streams. If anyone's got anything else we need to look at, just ping us a message in the Trader Discord or Telegram. Happy to help you guys out there. Don't forget to jump into the docs page and the academies for all the duty free stuff on there. It's all still very, very relevant. Don't get too bearish if you're in longs from lower. Manage that risk. All right, just manage that risk. I'm not seeing a massive reason to close out a longs yet. You're at the range POC. Just expect that crab price action around there. All right, guys. So yeah, sorry the stream froze. We'll call it there. And I'll try and fix it and get another stream in this week. All right, guys. Look, we'll speak soon. Cheers, guys.